What's up, guys? My name is Rob, and welcome back to Rule of Two Review. This was a video that I didn't think I was going to make initially, because on my last video, I mentioned how I really try not to get involved with these conversations and these issues on Rule of Two Review and YouTube specifically. It's very important for me not to do that because it is not the purpose of Rule of Two Review, and it's typically not the kind of gamer I am, really, to get involved with these things. But sometimes, you know, you have to speak up. And this is a topic that a few people in the last couple days have asked me to talk about. I do have to say my last video relating to this, about the Nintendo Directs and people's reactions and stuff, got crazy, super positive feedback on that. Thank you guys so much. That was a very, fun video to make and to talk about. I had a lot to say about it, very passionate, obviously, about the subject because I love Nintendo. I think that there are good points to be made on a lot of sides of that argument. And I do have to say that it's funny because this, amendments to that will sort of relate to what this video is about, kind of. But I do have to say that that video, I brought up Angry Joe and Review Tech USA and Rich, who runs that channel, in that video. And because they kind of were good examples of what I was getting at with some people's reactions specifically to Nintendo, about the Nintendo Directs. Rich's video was about something else, but still in reaction to Nintendo as a company. And so, I brought them up, but the video was not about them. And I even maintained in that video how I still really like those guys and their channels. And that is totally true. That was true then. It's even true right now. Love those guys. Two of my favorite channels, and favorite personalities on YouTube and on the internet when it comes to gaming. So that's true. But, I mean, that video really wasn't about that. So I know a lot of people got caught up in that aspect, and I appreciate that you were just interested in the conversation, so thank you for having it with me and liking the video. But just a reminder that they were just some examples because they're kind of high profile about some people's reactions and thoughts, but it was more about the larger picture, and it was about how just your average gamer reacts to things and how the whole Nintendo Direct thing played out with most people on the internet that day and the day after, That's really what that was about. So, but again, that's kind of neither here nor there. What I'm talking about right now, it's kind of weird, like I said, it kind of relates, is recent reactions to Nintendo copyright issues resurfacing. This is coming back again. Now, this was sparked by Angry Joe the last week now. That's become the big news. And part of the reason I don't like to talk about this stuff is I never want to make videos, with the rare exception, about another person or personality on the internet, on YouTube, like I said, with a rare exception. I think I might have done something about Greg Miller before, who I like, and I made two videos about PewDiePie. One, how I thought, he made a bunch of money. I thought that was great for gamers on YouTube and stuff. I mean, I like PewDiePie too, so I really don't dislike anyone, to tell you. There's very few people I dislike. It does happen, but... So, anyway, I just don't like to do that because no matter what you do, you're ending up on sides, and people see you as picking a side, and you're on this side or you're on that side, and it's like, I don't typically act that way unless it's really, really important. There will be times where I take a side, like against Ubisoft, and bad business practices, with certain things. And there are times where I think that it doesn't make sense to pick a side. And this is one of those times where I'm not really picking a side, but this does relate to what happened. I think that this is more a Nintendo issue than an Angry Joe issue, and that's why I was hesitant to make this video. But I appreciated that a couple of people said that they were curious as to, what I thought about this, because this became an issue again. And I'm a huge Nintendo fan, and I'm a lover of all games, and I'm a lover of all consoles, but Nintendo is my favorite, Wii U is my favorite. And I also have and I run a YouTube channel, and Rule of Two Review is monetized. I have no problem telling you that. So I don't really make a ton of money off it, but it is monetized. So that means I have the potential for copyright claims and strikes against my videos based on any company who doesn't like what have you. And I've said this before, I have seen copyright strikes on some of my things, so a couple claims. I've never gotten in trouble, but I've seen claims where I haven't been able to monetize videos anymore. Never had a video taken down. People talk about that happening, and I don't really know why, because I don't really know if it happens that way or not. What does happen is they will claim it, and if you were monetized, your video can remain up and remain viewable, but you're no longer making money off the ad revenue as the owner of that content is, unless you can dispute it and fight against it. So I've had copyright claims, and mostly from Nintendo, but not only from Nintendo. So there is that. I've had copyright claims from a couple people, but it hasn't happened very often. So for the most part, I'm in the clear. And so, that's why I think people are curious as to what I think, and a lot of other people on YouTube think who are in a similar situation. I love Nintendo. I like talking about Nintendo. Like 70% of Rule of Two Review is Nintendo-related stuff. And I like showing Nintendo footage when I can, you know, because I get a lot of Wii U gameplay capture. And, you know, Angry Joe made a video about Mario Party 10. You know the whole story. He made a Mario Party 10 video with him and some of his friends. He had a great time. They had a lot of fun. Loved the video. He was streaming it on Twitch, posted it on YouTube, and then he got the copyright claim. And he decided to take the video down because it wasn't monetized anymore, which I do think is a stupid move, by the way. Why not just leave the video up and leave it unmonetized, like I've done with a lot of my videos? Granted, my videos don't get hundreds of thousands and sometimes millions of views. I get it. You know, I make money on like 1% of my videos. You know, in every single video he makes, he's making actual revenue. He's generating profit from those videos. And so I get that. But you know what? Also, if you love making videos and you love talking about video games and showing video games, and you've got a channel that you're living off of comfortably, 1 out of every like 200 videos that you might not be able to monetize, isn't it okay to still leave it up so that the content exists? Isn't it still supposed to be there to entertain people? And shouldn't people still be able to enjoy your Mario Party 10 video even if you're not making money off of it, when you're making money on every other video you have? So when it comes to Angry Joe specifically, I do still really like the guy. He's a funny guy. I think he's a smart gamer. He has a shtick, and I think that he sticks to that shtick, and I think that's okay. He's not always right. I should say I don't always agree with him, but he's just a guy doing his shtick, and I think he's funny, and I like him. So, but I do, when it comes to this scenario specifically, I am not with him on that aspect. I think it shows that he was more concerned about the money, making money with every video, than he was about, well, I just want to provide the content, and so, okay, I can't monetize this one video. That's kind of dumb, which it is, but it is what it is. Let's just leave it up. So, really, when it comes to Joe, that's the most I have to say. That's why Angry Joe's name is not in the title of this video. I'm not tagging him. This video is not about Angry Joe, but is in relation to the recent conversations sparked by him. You know, so that's my opinions there. He got it pulled down. He made one of his rant videos about Nintendo, which he's made rant videos about Microsoft. He's made rant videos about Sony. He's made rant videos about Electronic Arts and other third-party companies. So a lot of Nintendo fans, we have this ability to just rush right rabidly, foaming at the mouth about, don't you dare talk about this company this way. And like, I get it. I'm right there with you. I love Nintendo more than anyone. And there are so many times where people say stuff that is bullshit and wrong and not fair to Nintendo. But people did this so fast, and it's all about Angry Joe sucks and he just hates Nintendo. And it's like, dudes and dudettes, like, he's never singled out Nintendo. He's not a big Nintendo fan, and only recently acquired a Wii U, of course, but he's, you know, done the same thing with the other guys when it makes sense to call them out on their bullshit, you know? And that leads me to the main part of this conversation, which is, I love Nintendo, and I know that they have the absolute legal right to do what they do when it comes to copyright claiming. Always that is the case, and so I will never say that they're in the wrong, because I don't think that they're in the wrong, but I do think that their stance on YouTube is kind of bullshit. It really is, man, and like, it doesn't really, like, bother me, even as someone who runs a YouTube channel and wants to talk about and show Nintendo footage, like, it doesn't really bother me to the point where I get that mad about it, but I can tell you that I think it is not smart of them. Is it wrong? No, it's not wrong, because they have the legal right to do what they're doing. So on paper, they are not wrong. They are, in fact, right. They are correct. And, you know, any other company who would do the same thing is the same way, unless you get into the fair use and maybe they do it by mistake or whatever, and you can prove it. But in general, the idea of we own this material, we tell you if and when you can use it and make money off of it, they're right to do so. So, you know, yes, they're not wrong, but I just don't think that it's smart. That's really all it ever comes down to. And I think a lot of the people, coincidentally, like Review Tech USA or Angry Joe, that make videos and talk about how they feel about Nintendo's YouTube policies, I think that's the point they're really making, that not everyone gets, and sometimes people on YouTube don't articulate their point the right way. It doesn't come across, so people don't understand it. But I think that they're ultimately getting at, it's not so much that, like, that Nintendo's wrong to do so, but because most companies now on the internet and on YouTube and gaming sites understand that it's stupid to put claims and prevent use of their footage, you know, for gameplay-centric games and prevent the free advertising, those companies are letting it happen. Honestly, at this point, 99% of any game or company I was going to show footage of on Rule of Two Review at a monetized video, I don't get claims. I don't get them that often. But I know that if I put up Mario Kart or Captain Toad, those are my last 2 claims in the last couple months, I'll get claimed. And Nintendo will claim those videos. And, like, it's... again, it doesn't, I don't, like, care, really, but when it comes to, like, everyone and their opinions and people who make a living off of YouTube and how people look at Nintendo and this and that, like, I understand why they're upset, and I think that it is not smart for Nintendo. Nintendo would benefit more from just not giving a fuck and just saying, you know, with the exception of, like, you know, the end of the next Zelda, don't spoil the story to our story game. But with most games they make where it's just all, like, gameplay, you know, gameplay-related stuff, not story stuff, they should not give a fuck. They would get so much more by just being known as a company that supports and promotes it without needing a Nintendo YouTube Creators Program. If they just facilitated and encouraged gamers to share how much they love their games and their content and showing it on YouTube for free. Everyone talks about the free advertising thing. Totally true. That is not made up bullshit. That is true. It is free advertising. Nintendo should be working with this. And to me, the YouTube Creators Program, it's a step in the right direction, but it's not great. And it's still not the right idea. It's not perfect. And so that doesn't really count. You know, it would just be smarter for them to just let people do it and not care. Because people would, A, see the footage of their gameplay more often and be more interested in it. B, see people enjoying their games and their footage and talking about how much they love it, therefore interesting them in purchasing their products. And C, again, they would be known as a great... Did I do ABC or 1, 2, 3? I think I did ABC. I don't want to be like A this, 3 this, and 5 this. You know, anyway. ABC, they would be known as a company that is great with its gamers and its consumers and is happy to provide all these ways and these avenues for people to enjoy their content, see their content, be interested in their content, want to go buy and purchase their content. So that's ultimately my feelings on the whole thing. So now I do think that, you know, Joe, I think that he kind of just baited this scenario. People have talked about this a little bit. I'll wrap up here. Yes, I think he kind of baited this a little bit, because people say, well, why did you post it when you know Nintendo's stance on this? You've already made a video about Nintendo's stance on this when you first got your Wii U. You know that the YouTube Creators Program by Nintendo does exist, so you did this you should have known better. And that's true. I still, like, don't really think that should matter in Joe's mind as much. You know, I think that he was still trying to say, maybe I can get away with it. I just want to make my Mario Party 10 video and share how much fun I was having with Mario Party 10 and my Wii U. So people forget that. Joe has never really shat on the Wii U or its games. He's having issues with Nintendo relating to YouTube, but he's not just like, I hate Nintendo as a company and I hate their games and their products. He's been enjoying his Wii U. He's said it so many times. He's enjoyed the system. Isn't that what's most important? Anyway, yes, I think he baited the scenario a little bit. He should have known. He probably knew this was going to happen. And what I kind of think might have happened is the video he made in response, his angry rant about Nintendo, that is one of his most popular videos in a long while, I think. So I think that what he was maybe doing is knowing that if in fact that video got claimed, he would then have to make a rant about how upset he was with Nintendo over this, and probably knew that that was going to be a very popular video. So that is based on no information but my own personal speculation. And this is the speculation from a guy who loves Angry Joe, like I said. So I'm not trying to, like, you know, defamate his character. That is not interesting to me. I want him to still be successful. I like the guy, and I'll continue to watch his videos. Me and my girlfriend were watching some of them this morning. Like, so it has nothing to do with me trying to slander him, you know. But I will say that my personal theory is that maybe this is something he did. I don't think it's an awesome thing to do if it was true, but who knows? I mean, it's just stuff to think about and ponder, and it's all a very interesting, messy scenario. It's always a messy scenario, man. So, you know, I said I didn't really want to make this kind of video, but, you know, I did. I'm glad I did. It's fun to talk about this stuff. I really try not to get involved in the drama. I just want to talk about games, you know, games I love, things that are interesting to me, good, you know, positive news stories, you know, what's going to happen at E3, why is this cool or that. Obviously, bullshit's going to happen. It happens a lot in this industry, so, you know, sometimes you got to talk about it. You know, and I obviously have feelings on these subjects. I just don't want to be known as, like, that channel and that guy, but whatever, you know. Seemed like people were interested in this, you know, and wanted to hear my thoughts on it, and I always like to respond if I can, if people want to hear me specifically talk about it. I know you guys have tons of thoughts, so I definitely want to hear all of those thoughts. Do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? Do you agree with Joe or do you disagree with Joe? Do you agree with Nintendo or do you disagree with Nintendo? There's a lot of sides to take with this story. There's always a lot of sides with every story, you know, so. But this one is especially messy. So again, this video, in summary, not about Angry Joe. And I maintain being a humongous fan of Angry Joe. He is an entertaining, awesome, fun gamer, and I don't always agree with anybody, but that's not going to make me not a fan. So was he kind of stupid in some ways here? Yes. But was he also kind of right in some ways too? Yeah, I think he was as well. So it's just one of those fucking gray areas, man. Like, it is what it is. People love to get angry about these things, but try not to. Just, you know what, if you like Nintendo, keep playing Nintendo's games in the Wii U. If you don't like Nintendo, I think it's a shame, and you're missing out on the best games on the market, but go play the other things you love, and just who gives a fuck, you know? Anyway, even though I spent, what, 15 minutes talking about it, who gives a fuck, right? So that's it, man. Lots to talk about. Share your thoughts. Thanks for tuning in. If you're new to Rule of Two Review via this video, please feel free to subscribe. You know, like, share, comment, do all those fun things. You know, I make consistent videos all the time on Rule of Two Review about all the companies and all the games because I love everybody. So thanks for tuning in. I will catch you guys next time on another video for Rule of Two Review.